Good evening, Dr. Roy.
Hey everyone, how are you doing?
Good, good. All is going good. How's everything on your side?
All is good, all is good. Thank you. Let me try to open my camera.
Exactly. We're just waiting for participants to be joining now, as we are probably they are setting up their screens now. So
No problem.
we'll be giving it like around 5 minutes.
Okay.
How's everything on your side? All is going good?
All is going good. Just finished my day of work and here we are.
Excellent, excellent.
And I'm not sure about the audience here. Guys, do you prefer doing that in Arabic or mixed or purely in English?
From my recommendation, if it's possible for the opportunity to have it both Arabic and English, it would be great. But again, it's up to you regarding the process. So
let's mix it up then.
Okay, great, great. So the topics, everything will be in English. Whenever we feel the urge for the Arabic, we can also introduce. So let me announce it again because we announced it before that it will be in English. So I'll just even, especially in our Discord group.
Mm-hmm. Nabil Hamdan, welcome on the podcast.
Thank you so much. مساء الفل.
مساء الخير.
كيف الحال؟
يا هلا يا هلا. يسعد مساك يا ابو متعب.
اخبارك تمام؟
هلا يا ابو متعب. مشتاقين يا ابو متعب.
حبيبي انت. مستمع تفضلوا.
يلا ناطرين بس 5 دقائق لحتى يشتركوا معنا يعني عمليا وبنرجع مباشرة. Roy, I'll be waiting for your signal to start, okay?
Anytime you would like to start, hit me with the questions and let's go for it.
Okay. So, good evening, everyone, into this podcast here that we will be having with EPAM. The title, as it shows, it's the psychology of virtual communities and financial markets. So, a brief introduction on the guests. We have the EPAM Systems Inc., which is an American company that specializes in service development, digital platform engineering, and digital product design. EPAM is one of the world's largest manufacturers of custom software and consulting providers. The company is headquartered in Newton, Pennsylvania, and it's branched into 40 countries. For today, we'll be having our guest speaker. It will be Dr. Rائدة. Dr. Roy, he's an associate experience manager in EPAM Systems. Basic industries he's dealing with are sports, fashion, travel and mobility, telecom, e-commerce, finance, Web3, and healthcare. Dr. Roy basically oversees the clients. Some of the clients actually are British Telecom, Burberry, Nike, Baxter, Kingfisher, Europcar, and Yahoo. Now, when it comes to Dr. Roy's superpowers, let me refer to it this way. He's basically into the user research, market research, behavioral finance, branding, marketing, analysis, quantitative analysis. And Mr. Dr. Roy speaks 4 languages, one of which is the Arabic language. Dr. Roy has PhD in consumer behavior, MSc in digital marketing, and the BS in financial markets. So basically, he's our guy for everything we need to tackle.
So
No.
thanks a lot for the
Welcome, Dr. Roy, and hopefully we are in safe hands with you. I'm sure of it.
Thanks a lot for the intro. So we have more joiners on the EPAM side. I have my colleagues here. I can see Nabila already. Sarah, hello, Sarah.
Pleasure, everyone.
Thank you.
So just to give you a bit of overview about myself and again about how Hassan presented me. Hassan and I know each other from university. كنا مع بعض بالجامعة, and that's how we know each other. I was studying finance back then, and I was always passionate about financial markets and finance. So in the beginning, like you guys, you're doing trading. I wanted to become a trader, and more as a full-time working in the financial industry, and seeing how my friends are working in the finance world, I was like, okay. And I was inspired by this movie, The Wolf of Wall Street. So that was also one of my inspirations. And then I saw myself not living this kind of lifestyle, not only from the movie, but this was real. I saw my friends who were working with big investment banks, waking up at 4 a.m. They only had to live their life in that very early part of the day. And then after trading and all this stress that they had, I was like, no, that's not really the lifestyle that I want as a trader. But I had this opportunity to work in research with financial research, where I would actually dig for the data. I would receive the raw data. I would do these statistical analysis, understanding the markets, try to understand the point of view of the investors and all of that. So that was like much more fun for me just to be as a floor trader, living the stress of trading. And I was working directly with the traders. Everything that I get as data and understanding, I would give it to the traders who would actually go back and reflect on what we give them. They would من المطبخ, يعني المطبخ تبع الفاينانس, بيطبخوا البرودكت, بيطبخوا البورتفوليو, and they had this not only just trading skills but sales skills. عشان as a trader بالبنك بدك تبيع عند البرودكت للكلاينت, اذا كان كلاينت للبنك او اذا كان كلاينت that بيجي عندك بيقول لك انا I want a portfolio of stocks, اعطيني انت احسن portfolio that has more of a market valuation of profits than the actual market. او انا اكثر risk taker, ما بدي اخذ bonds, انا بدي اخذ maybe stocks, انا يمكن بدي bonds, يمكن بدي ذهب. So عشان هيك I refer to them as مطبخ. So basically that's how I got into finance. اشتغلت مع Yahoo Finance, running the research for the different financial instruments, whether it's the GCC markets, the global markets, commodities. And from there I started having more and more curiosity in understanding how these different markets function, because I'm interviewing people from the finance world, bankers, politicians. بعدين اشتغلت مع ال International Human Rights Commission as a macroeconomic researcher. هون بتصير بتفهم مش بس the numbers that you get, بس بتصير بتفهم انت اكثر اذا بدك الجيوبوليتيكال aspect, كيف هذا الشيء بيأثر على اسعار الستوكس, كيف هذا الشيء بيأثر على الكوموديتيز, how it impacts the demand in a certain economy, how it impacts
ممتاز. اللي هو فاكتور جدا مهم بعمليه الفاينانس والتريدينج.
100%. So هون انت بتفوت اكثر بال not the technical but the fundamental analysis كمان, which is much more important when it comes to financial markets and currencies. And I say not crypto, I'm saying currencies, forex, with the technical analysis. وحنوصل نحن للpoint where I would debunk that in cryptocurrencies. So basically that's it, until I ended up more following the technology side. And when I went to the technology side, the sectors اللي سميتهم, I strayed away from finance and I went more into the consumership, more the retail part. That was also interesting for me, because if you look at the financial world as it is, if you look at these graphs, if you look at these charts, this reflects human psychology. And human psychology is the same. إذا أنت بتروح على السوبر ماركت بتشوف, let's say, أنينة بيبسي buy one get one free or and the offer ends بعد يومين. It's the same kind of emotions that is triggered in the financial markets when you say, okay, there's this stock, it's going up, I need to run and I need to buy it right now before it goes up even higher, and you might end up being trapped into this, between parentheses, marketing strategy done by the market itself. So psychology is the same. Whatever you do in financial markets reflects of what you do in any kind of economy or retail-based marketing.
Hello, very fulfilling. Thank you for the introduction, Roy. It was really, really bright. And for the overview that you provided كرمال هذا الموضوع كلياته، واللي خصوصا نحن صرنا جزء كثير كبير فيه، وجزء عم نعيشه بشكل يومي نحن بحياتنا بعملية الأسواق وبالفيرتشوال كوميونيتيز اللي هي كمان تايتل اليوم، عنوان نحن لنا كمان موجود. بالنسبة لموضوع coming to the fact of the also the virtual communities here، أنا حابب كمان شوي بالنسبة للي ما بيعرفوا الفضاد probably from EPAM Systems side, from joiner side. I'll say it in English. Al-Fadad is a bilingual community aiming to spread awareness and motivate investment in the emerging blockchain technology, DeFi, and Web3 in the Arab region mainly. استهدافها الأساسي هي إن تكون جروب توعوي، كوميونيتي توعوي تعليمي بكل الشؤون اللي تختص بموضوع البلوك تشين وبموضوع الويب 3. It was founded on the basis that interaction within a community is knowledge and knowledge itself is power. ومن هون بيجي دور المعلومة وبيجي دور الفهم والوعي لأساس هذا الماركت من جهة، للتكنولوجيا الجديدة من جهة تانية، ولا الأمور اللي خاصة أغلبيتها كلها بحلقتنا اللي هي الموضوع النفسي اللي بيلعب دور كتير كبير اليوم بتحفيز وبتفعيل الشيء كلياته. So from here, I'll be leaving it for you. We will be having the issues of the topics raised, starting with the rise of virtual communities. You prefer we tackle each point by point? You prefer you do your own abstract? Your call.
Let's talk. Tell me what's on your mind, and let's have this open discussion.
Excellent, lovely. So basically, as we already know, the world has been changing in the past couple of years. So work has changed, life itself has changed. This has caused habits also to change. So this fast-paced change or transformation, I cannot even call it a transformation, it happened really quickly that it didn't even provide any room for someone to adapt with. Starting from the COVID and till now we are in the post-COVID area, and we are still till date trying by trial and error in order to settle in many aspects and sectors in life. And whenever we are in the near future, it doesn't seem that there is any solid solution or any solid exit we are having from here. So all this has created a huge psychological burden, and it led to feelings of doubt, frustration for many people, one of which I'm one of those. So probably I'm uncertain about the upcoming future. I'm uncertain about so many things, psychologically speaking, and this has caused some troubled decisions or troubled ideas. However, for me and to many others, there is a strict belief that to overcome these challenges, teamwork and collaboration are the golden rules to follow. And this is what let me call it the core of what we are trying to do now in between Al-Fadad and EPAM Systems on one hand, and between the Al-Fadad society as a whole and in between its members on another, in order to properly tackle such problems and psychological traits or aspects, or if you like to call them.
Okay.
So, hopefully I did not miss anything, Roy. So from your side, maybe you can add, maybe you can...
No, but to start with it, and كون يعني دائما واحد.
Sorry, Roy, ما عم نسمعك. روي
be patient with me لأنه عندي اللابتوب
ممتاز. المهم مش من عندي. المهم مش تعرف الهم. اوكي no worries.
سو دايما بس بدنا نجاوب على اي سؤال إن كان، دايما نطرح حالنا الاسئله ومن السؤال اللي بيعطينا لحاله جواب. انا حاسالك يا حسن، انت
أبشر.
ليش you decided to invest بالكريبتو ومش ب any financial instrument? Maybe you are in other financial instruments بس ليش بالكريبتو؟
simply put
مع نفسك وصريح مع with the audience.
ممتاز. بكل بساطة الجواب هو الهايب، هو الترند، هو الفورة يلي اخذتها الكريبتو ماركت on one hand. وهذا بالنسبة نحن للشركة بشكل عام. بشكل خاص انك انت اليوم you are investing and you are getting yourself involved in an emerging technology يلي ممكن تكون خلال 5 ل 10 سنين من اليوم حجر اساسي كثير كبير بكل شيء من حياتنا. So trying to be starting or trying to invest in something when it's still in its infancy stage هذا شيء كثير مهم. At least for me personally أنا عم بحكيك عن حالي personally هلا. لو ما الهايب، لو ما الماركتينج، لو ما الترند، لو ما كل هالامور انا ما عادي يمكن كان بالنسبه لي، او ما كان، ما بعرف اذا كانت اخذت هالضجه الكبيره يعني. اما لما تفوت يعني هذا السبب الاساسي، اما لما تفوت اكثر بتفاصيل التكنولوجي بحد ذاتها، من البلوك تشين، من اليوز كيس تبعها، من اهميتها، من التجارب السابقه يلي قطعت اللي هي تجارب قديمه كثير. مثل عم نحكي مثلا فور اكزامبل، عم نحكي نحن بامازون لما اول ما انشئ، عم بعطيك اكزامبل على عده شركات ثانيه ممكن تكون ببداياتها كانت الناس تعتبرها انه هيدي فوره رح تقطع وتروح. وهينا نحن وصلنا اليوم لزمن صارت عنصر اساسي لبل شيء كثير حيوي لحتى انت تقدر تيسر امورك تمشي حالك بسرعه فيهم. So what prevents blockchain, what prevents crypto, what prevents digital assets in a time span from now, saying like 5-10 years, to be the next Amazons, to be the next Forex market, to be the next stock market.
Okay.
So trying to be on board from its start. Simply put.
اوكي. طيب شو الدافع؟ هل هي عن جد التكنولوجي يلي بتخلينا نحن كتريدرز to go in these markets؟
شو الدافع اللي ممكن يخلينا نكون كتريدرز؟ Probably 1. 2. You are sharing a real-time experience مع كثير peers بيشبهوك، مع كثير ناس أشخاص within certain communities. عم تتحفز معهم، عم تقدر تكون موجود أنت معهم. You feel some sense of belonging معهم. خسارتهم خسارتك، خسارتك خسارتهم، بالأرباح بتنبسطوا سوا. حتى يمكن أوقات ببعض الكيسز الربح ما يكون لك، يمكن لغيرك.
عم بحكي اكزاكتلي عن الكوميونتي، عم بحكي عن التكنولوجي.
اوكي، عن التكنولوجي. اذا نحن عم نحكي عن التكنولوجي ايه ما بدي يسبقني انا ترين او قطار هذا اللي سبق اهلنا قبلنا ووصلنا لمحل انه نحن ما قدرانين نفهمه بعد فتره طويله، او بيكون صار كثير تطور ومطور ومنك قدران تتفاعل معه.
صح، بس انا عم بقول لك انت هلا كتريدر،
اوكي،
هل هي التكنولوجي هو الدافع لك؟
التكنولوجي اكيد بشكل عام، وخصوصا روي يمكن في كثير ناس نحن ما بتعرف منهم. عندك موضوع الفاينانشال فريدم اللي هي هيدا جزء يمكن نحن خصوصا اشخاص بلبنان عانينا منه، وبعضنا عم نعاني منه من خلال اخر 5-6 سنين لليوم، اللي هو موضوع البير تو بير. مثلا اليوم انا فكره البير تو بير وفكره انه انت اليوم الديسنتراليزيشن اوف ذس تكنولوجي بحد ذاتها خلاني اشوف حسنات كثير كبيره موجوده مقارنه بامور صعبه قطعنا فيها نحن من وراء البنوك. One of the examples.
اوكي، بس سؤالي هل هيدا الشيء بيخولك يكون عندك this اذا بدك approach as a trader or more as a retail need consumer in this case؟
Excellent. هيدا بفتره من الفترات بيشكل لك الحافز الموتيف. اما اليوم عمليه انك تصنف حالك كتريدر او تصنف نفسك كريتيلر، هون ترجع لكل شخص بشخصه. بعتقد اللي هو حابب يطور نفسه، حابب يشتغل على حاله، حابب يتعلم اسس وبيسكس معينين بالتريدينج، او هو حابب يضله شخص موجود عم بيتشارك مع بعض الاشخاص الثانيين. he's getting himself involved in certain trades based on recommendations based on certain signals. هيدا بترجع قراره للواحد. انا بالنسبه لي I started more of someone حابب يكون بارت من هذا الجو للاسباب اللي قلناها الموتيف، ومعك صرت عم تتعلم البيسكس كلها تبع التريدنج والتشارتنج للماركت سبيشلي بيسكلي الكريبتو ماركت، والهدول الفاندمنتالز اللي اساسا بينتبهوا على الماركتس كلها اوفر اول بصيروا. وحتى يعني احد الاشخاص اللي حاليا موجود معنا له فضل كثير كبير علي شخصيا بهالموضوع اللي هو ابراهيم. هذا شخص من اول ما بلشت انا بهذا السبيس كنت تعرف عم تتنقل من جروب لجروب وبتفوت من كوميونتي لكوميونتي وبتسمع راي وبتاخذ قرار وفعلا هذا الشخص ضل وراي. انا بيرسونلي عم بحكيك عن تجربتي الشخصيه، ضل وراي لحتى علمني الاساسات والبيسكس كلياتها him being a professional trader. So it really made a change.
اوكي. انا سالتك كم سؤال. اذا بدك انا my sentiment يعني from my expertise in behavioral psychology and behavioral finance that
am I the subject of the study just to understand myself?
exactly. So دائما واحد بيسمع حاله and that helps a lot انه واحد كمان يوصل للجواب اللي هو بده يوصل له. The way that you're talking, I can sense this passion, this somehow involvement when we say brand involvement or customer involvement. So there is this identification, this involvement, this attachment, and in the way that you're speaking, you're expressing yourself, which is not negative, by the way. On the other hand, if you want to be a real good trader, you have to put all of this on the side. انتبه نحن كبشر نحن we're emotional, and this is the topic اللي نحن نحكي فيه, and that's what I would like to transmit to you that as a human you need to have emotions لحتى تكون إنسان that has this empathy تتعامل مع ناس تاني, إنك تقدر تتواصل to communicate, تكون شخص بالمجتمع that could have this let's say good role model as a friend, as a family member, as emotions are important, understanding and communicating emotions. But as a trader you have to be as cold as ice. ولا let's say نسمة emotions really. The reason is the markets ما بيرحم people with emotions. It does not, and I was one of the, let's say if you want to say victims of being an emotional trader. كلنا بنمرق فيها هذه الشغلة. لأنه أنت who is the best performer? Who are the best traders in a financial market? مين أحسن trader? Not people.
Institutions.
Not people. Who are in the institutions? It's bots. ليش البot؟ لأنه البot is very objective. It does not involve options. They involve strategy. They follow trends. So this is why what I'm trying to tell you is that, and أنا أكيد إنه كثير من الشباب هون they're experts in financial markets. أنا I'm trying to give إذا بدك أكثر for this specific podcast بدك نرجع نحكي إذا بدك أكثر with the whole financial markets and the similarities. بس أعطيكم أكثر overview about these specific cryptocurrency markets. Guys, سارة ما بعرف إذا بعتها بالكول هون or she left. نحن we're working on Web3 projects for some clients. But the thing is that really, if you're looking into the technology, nobody really, the markets don't care about the technology. Markets don't give an F about the technology. It's about trends. It follows the trend. في market cycle عم بيصير, and the market cycle will respect itself. كرمال هيك, if you are a trader, you care about making money and not losing. So first of all, the first rule in trading is not to lose money, and then it's making money. You don't care about the technology. إذا بتعرف أنت التوليب مانيا كانوا من قبل it wasn't the technology. بهولندا وصلت سعر التوليب هيدي بال 1700 ل 10 مرات the average salary of a normal person. Was it based on any technology? Was it based? No. شو الuse case تبعها؟ It's a flower, but it's the bet that somebody that is more let's put it in a very vulgarized way, stupid than me, will buy it for more and waiting for somebody more stupid to buy it for more expensive. So this is the concept of a bubble. نحن اليوم بالكريبتو كرنسي اكيد في اليوز كيس، بس البيتكوين اذا بدك تشوف انت the hash rates and how it مع الهافينج والقصص قديش تقدمت البيتكوين من 2009 2010 لليوم. is it worth it تروح من 5 سنت وصلت almost ل 70,000؟ I don't think it's a fair market value. بس شو اللي وصلها لهون؟ it's the speculation. بتقلي the blockchain technology اكيد it's useful. blockchain technology, all you need is some engineers to develop this technology on your platforms, work on it, and that's it. Do you need to really buy Bitcoin to build a blockchain-driven solution? No, you don't need that. You don't even need to. You learn from the Bitcoin as you know, something that really evangelized the technology, but the technology itself, it's not Bitcoin. Now, you study the trend, you study the markets. بتقول أنا إنه okay, there's this technology that is going up and down. I would take advantage of going up with it and at the right time, and you can never actually ما فيك تبيع على البيك وما فيك قصدي ما فيك تبيع على البيك وما فيك دائما تشتري على البوتtom. You will always be somewhere in between. This is the good strategy.
صح.
The fact that when you are in those markets, you have to have a really good timing that is very separate from your emotions. Fear, greed, these are the main drivers of everything. And some of the guys who are on the podcast know that. Early 2022 قبل ما تبلش 2022 أول شغلة قلتها أنا للانتوراج تبعي بيعوا كل شيء ستوكس، بيعوا كل شيء كريبتو. أنا مش هعملكم تخلوا عن التكنولوجي، بس في ترند. The trend is your friend. And this is where دايما شو بيكون هون نحن بناخذ البارت that is more fundamental. The technology is advancing. Crypto is not dead, not even close to dying. بس في شيء اسمه سايكل وبده يطلعوا. وصلت للبيك بس تصير تسمع جارك ابو احمد اللي عمره 80 سنه صار عم يحكي عن الكريبتو، وبس تشوف كمان ابو محمد اللحام عم يحكي عن الكريبتو، بدك توقف هون وتقول it became so mainstream that everyone is talking about it.
And there is flag some flags here.
Exactly. So ليه is it the right time for me أنا أخذ pause هون وشوف شو عم يصير بالmarkets? So a successful trader would reflect on these, would say, okay, this is the right time for me to take a step back, let the markets do its own correction and discount, and then I will go back into the markets. Okay? So هلا حفت لك أكثر بالسايكولوجي لأقول لك شو الباترنز اللي بيمرقوا براسه للواحد لحتى يصير معه هول الأشياء. بس when I said that back then وخالد معنا هون بالكول هو من الأشخاص اللي تابعني هذا الموضوع. في شيء كتير بسيط that mainstream investors, and this is financial literacy, people who lack financial literacy skip this part. انه عندك المصرف المركزي بامريكا على الفوائد. بس يعلي الفوائد شو بده يصير؟ البيج انستتيوشنز، ونحن الماركت از دريفن باي بيج انستتيوشنز. اللي صار انه هذا الشيء خلى البيج انستتيوشنز يتخلوا عن their investments، يبيعوا يروحوا على الكاش ايكونومي. وانا سي كاش ايكونومي مش ضروري كاش تانجبل، بس قصدي للدولار، لانه انت عندك ريسك بالماركت هلا وهن متدينين على فوائد كثير واطيه. بقول لك انا هلا بدي يصير ادفع انا الفوائد على، ولو علوها ربع بالمية على مليارات الدولارات بتفرق، مش مثل اللي اخذ دين ب $10,000 وكذا. سو بصير عندك عرض اكثر بالسوق، وهذا الشيء بيخليه ينزل. وبس تشوف انه في اجنده للمصرف المركزي انه نحن بعد كل 3 اشهر بدنا نزيد فوائد. You shouldn't be sticking and holding emotionally، لانه in the end whether it's Bitcoin ولا كان another project ولا كان حتى another stock، stock is not خيي، منه امي منه بيي. why should I develop this emotional attachment to it? No. اذا بشوفه عم يبلش هو يتركني ويغدرني وعم يخليني اخسر، I cut my losses. الله معه. let it go, let it drown. وبس ينشف يصير تحت برجع بلمه. بس هون انا I base myself on technical analysis لحتى احط اذا بدك مثل بوصله بالتكنيكال اناليسيس انه هيدا الشيء عم يغرق، انا وين فيني لمه وارجع بارخص وارجع اطلع معه. That's the mentality. So نحن هون بيصير عندنا شيء in psychology that we call decision paralysis. decision paralysis هيدا الشيء بيصير معنا نحن كاشخاص بحياتنا اليوميه دائما، كمان مش بس بالفاينانشال ماركتس. انا بس let's say شفت شخص عجبني على الطريق بدي اروح احكي معه، بقوم انا هيك بحس حالي خلص انه بوكلت، ما يعني ما بطل يطلع كلام مني، ما بطل فيني اعمل شيء. او بيصير معنا اوقات بس نقول واحد انسبع، هذا decision انه بطل حالك بتعرف حالك كيف تتصرف ب certain situation. This is human. هذا الشيء بيصير معنا بحياتنا اليوميه. in financial markets بيصير. And the only way to defeat this decision paralysis is through training yourself. تدرب حالك in those situations. يعني أنا دائما I'm an advocate of even if you have a live account that you trade with، يكون عندك إذا بدك a simulation account or a fake account. إذا مش fake، إذا فهمت علي أنت simulation account.
true.
لأنك تحط حالك بهول السيناريوهات وانك تشوف انت انه كيف تصرفت بهاللحظه. جرب انت تشوف حالك انه اذا عملت ارباح، درب حالك على انك تحصد الارباح وتطلع، واذا كان في خساره انك تحدد خسارتك وتطلع. درب حالك بالسيميليشن. هو مثل الكيك بوكسينج، هو مثل الفوتبول، مثل اي رياضه، مثل اي شيء. بتدرب حالك للسيتويشن لما تكون انت بالحاله اللي الايموشنز تبعولك بيكونوا عاليين you would actually act upon it. لانه انت عاطفيا دربت حالك لهالسيتويشن وما كانت انت based on the live situation. شفت الماركتس فجأة قشطوا 10% بالكريبتو، بطلت عارف حالك شو بتعمل. بطلع من الماركت بضل بنطر بركي رجع طلع. طيب انا بدي هلا ارجع حقق بس انه اوصل للانفستمنت تبعي واطلع من الماركت، اعمل بريك ايفن، والماركت يصير بينزل فيك اكثر وبتقول طيب انا هلا قبل اخسر بس 10% وبيقشط فيك اكثر واكثر. شو بيصير فيك هون؟ فايس فيرسا. بس كله هذا مثل ما بيقولوا سمك بالبحر. بتقول انا هلا ربحان 50% بس انت ما حصدت ربحك. So this decision paralysis happens to us as humans, and the only way to defeat it is through training our minds with these different situations that اللي عملنا. So this is the first facet when it comes to psychology, and let's tackle إذا بدك another concept in psychology.
كثير فكرة ممتازة اللي حكيتها، وفكرة فعلا منطقية، خصوصا لما عم نحكي نحن اليوم كأشخاص فايتين جديد على سوق الكريبتو أو على أسواق المال بشكل عام. ولكن هيدا الشيء كمان عندك مشاكل ممكن تصير مع أشخاص متداولين صار لهم فترة وفعلا خبراء بالسوق. يعني لليوم بتلاقيهم لا حديت هلا ممكن يكون صار لهم سنين بعملية التداول والتريدينج، بتلاقي انه في امور كثير عم تنعكس على التريدينج تبعه. عم بيكون في عنده فيلينجز معينين هيدول او تريدز عم تطلع معه خاسره من وراء امور وقرارات اخذها خلال التريد. هلا نحن عملنا هيك شوي بول صغير وقتها بالجروب، تبين معنا نحن انه يعني في من المسببات خليني الفيلينجز السايكولوجيكال فيلينجز that will lead to loss. لقينا انه نحن في عندنا 17% من الاشخاص اللي موجودين ضمن الكوميونتي معنا هيدول they lose trades، بيخسروا من وراء revenge trading. 13% because they fear of missing out on trades. 15% out of the participants بهالبول because صار في عندهم fear of losing due to consecutive losses قديما. 12% due to fear uncertainty and doubt. 9% بيجوا بدون تحضير، وهون هذا اللي قلتن عنه روي انت هلا. عندك كمان 9% تاني بيقولوا لك عن الجريد، الطمع. وعندك نسبة كبيرة منهم بتتخطى ال 13 و 14%. هدول الاشخاص بس لانهم بياخذوا تريدز من اشخاص وبيسمعوا و they only listen to many opinions while they're trading. So سؤالي انا هون هذا الشيء يمكن يفوتنا شوي على opinion قديش شخصية، قديه psychological aspect او personal trait can be conveyed in a trade.
اوكي سو هون نحن لا اول شيء لجاوب the first part اللي كنت عم تحكي عنه انت about when people they actually decide that اللي بالتريد كنت عم تحكي انه they follow. This is actually something that also is in psychology, and the other one also. So these are all prevalent إذا بدك characters and prevalent let's say behaviors in the financial markets. So دائما أعطيك أنا أبسط الأمور. When you're إذا أنت جوعان أو متخانق مع حدا اوعى تعمل اوعى تعمل تريد لأنه أنت هون you will be emotional, that's for sure. ونحن برجع بقول لك نحن بالنهاية نحن بشر. Emotions will be prevalent, so you have to be in this very neutral, let's say, aspect. Now when it comes to these strategies انه حتى شخص بيكون له فترة عم يعمل تريدينج بيرجع كمان بيوقع بهاي الأخطاء، كمان هذا شيء طبيعي لأنه نحن we're not consistent as إذا بدك emotionally. هذا الشيء بيتغير من يوم ليوم، من لحظة للحظة، من يمكن صار معك event قبل كذا، and it depends on what data you're looking for. So بالنهاية ما حدا فينا can defeat the markets. نحن ما بنعرف شو we can إذا بدك pretend نحن بنطلع على الماركتس in terms of probability إنه في لنقول احتمال 30% يصير هيك، 40% يصير هيك كذا، بس نحن نقول انه هلا بدنا نربح بدنا نخسر بالماركت بده يعمل هيك، ما فيك انت تعمل اقوى اناليسيس، بس ما في يمكن يغدرك الماركت. هذا الشيء بيصير لانه يمكن في شيء اسمه ماركت ميكر. بالنهايه it's not a bunch of traders. في ماركت ميكرز that are actually painting this trend. اوكي كيف انت بتقول يعني let's say عم تحضر انت فيلم وعم تتاثر انت بالفيلم انه باللحظه، بس ما اوريدي كان في اخراج للفيلم، في مخرج عمل الفيلم، في ممثلين عملوه كذا وكذا، بعد ما طلع هيدا انحط بالسينما.
ممتاز. بس بيجي سؤالي هون بضمن هاي البوينت اللي عم تحكيها روي، انتم صحيح يمكن نحن كلياتنا اغلبيتنا بنعرف ومقتنعين we are very convinced that there are market makers who are driving this market. However, the impact of this idea on our decisions عم بيكون كتير بسيط.
اوكي
بضل في عنا الطابع اللي من خلاله بتعتبر انه انت لو بمحلات قدران تفهم السوق، قدران تفهم وين رايح الترند.
اوكي
عندي سؤال.
أكيد.
من هو الماركت ميكر؟ Who's the market maker?
Very good question.
Some of groups or one group or government or who?
Hanna, very good question. So that's again my personal opinion. يمكن يكون غلطان يمكن يكون لا، بس أنا my personal opinion it's very big corporations who are the market makers. نحن عم نحكي عن depending on the market بالنهاية اللي عم نحكي عنه، بس إذا بدنا نحكي نحن financial markets Bank of America, Merrill Lynch, BlackRock, these are the big institutions who are the main market makers in my opinion, and they have the leverage. بالنهاية أقول لك example أنت إذا عندك كباية معباية نصها مي حطيت فيها بذرة أو حبة حمص، قديش بده يعلى الفوليوم تبع المي؟ بينما إذا طلقت أنت تفاحة بتحطها بالكباية بده يعلى. So دائما the market maker is the one that has the financial leverage, the monetary leverage. هو اللي بيقدر يأثر بالسوق. That's one of them. Another market maker is actually the central bank. وبيعملها على العلن. المصرف المركزي بس يقول لك أنا بدي طبع مصاري أكثر أو أنا بدي زيد فوائد ونزل فوائد. Isn't that market making? It is. So you have
indirectly قصدك. directly كمان. اوكي.
لانه هو على العلن بيقول لك انا بدي اعلي الفوائد بعد 3 اشهر. سو بصير عندك برايسنج ان بالماركت. سو بيزيكلي ذاتس ات. بس بدنا نحكي more into the individual. I hope جاوبتك مهنا على السؤال.
دكتور روي.
إلى أجبت شكرا. طيب do you think that the individuals can make some يعني some effect on the market or huge effect on the market?
بجاوبك نبيل اكيد حجاوبك على سؤالك. Let me just answer this question لمهنا. Individuals in my opinion I don't think so. It depends. اذا انت عم تحكي عن كريبتو كارنسي صغيره الماركت كاب تبعها $50 مليون وانت بتفوت كشخص ب 10 مليون اكيد you will have an impact. بس on the global financial markets no I don't believe so.
شكرا لك. Thank you.
Nabil?
Yes, so back to Hussein's question on how much of our psychology goes into how much of the consumer psychology goes into the decision making. You said a very lovely word when you started. It's the motives. الشيء اللي بيحرك أي حدا فينا أو everything else follow. يعني today when we study consumer psychology, there have been lots of efforts in identifying different models, and the best models are the emotional driven models. One of them is called need scope. It segments people based on the emotion of what they want to get from what they purchase, whether it's a product or service. And yes, it's totally how much they put from their motives into what they are buying, and this is something that not just the crypto, even any brand, any product, any service, any experience that they look for shapes the way how they talk about it. يعني اليوم أنا for example لما I buy a car or I buy a cryptocurrency, there are people who just want it for show off, there are other people who want to make money. There are other people who don't know what it is, but they're just getting it for the sake of reassurance. الموتيف بين هول 3 أشخاص اختلف وأثر بنفس الوقت على قديش هن they will get advanced in it. لأنه اللي بده يعمل money حيفوت أكتر details وحيكون aggressive investor يمكن بعكس اللي هو بس اخدها as a kind of انه انا معي كريبتو شوفوني. So yes, there is a lot of psychology that goes into that. قديش انه كمان ردا على السؤال هون قديش individuals بيأثروا على الماركت. مثل ما قال روي, yes I agree انه ما كتير, بس there is a small impact on how do they react to the trend. And you said a very lovely saying, Roy, trend is your friend, which I totally agree on. Thank you.
Thanks.
شكرا نبيل.
نبيل انت هلا يعني الطريقه كمان لخصت دي similarity اللي انا عمولها بين انه human behavior, whether it's with a brand, with a product in financial markets, it's the same. انتم بتعرفوا اصلا كيف التريدنج هو الترندز كيف بلشوا, اللي احنا بس نطلع على الشارت. الشارت هو كان لتجار الرز, هيك بلش باليابان in the late 15th to 16th century. هيك بلش الماركت ترندز, واللي هو كان برودكت عادي. سو نحن من هون انطلقنا. شوفوني انه انا معي كريبتو وكذا وهيك. هدي falls also in psychology in what we call also feel hedonism, which is more prevalent in luxury markets. So luxury product owners عندهم هذا to show what they have, to feel that they are associated into a certain community. ونحن هون نرجع منفوت into the community part. ليش في عنا كثير this community thing in cryptocurrency؟ انه انا I'm more of a Bitcoin holder, I'm an Ethereum holder, I'm an investor ب this NFT, عندي البورد بيات club NFT etc. So نحن هون we're associating ourselves with a certain community to feel this social identification. ونحن we belong to a certain community. لانه هيدي نحن as humans نحن متعودين نكون بترايبس. طلع من الاف السنين لورا شو البرايد عند بني ادم انه يكون affiliated to a certain tribe. اليوم certain communities brings us this feeling of fulfillment. انه انا معي كريبتو, انه انا كذا انا كذا انا كذا. هلا ليش الناس كمان بتفوت بهيدا الشيء؟ لانه في شيء اسمه the herding, او اذا بدك mentality
القطيع.
exactly. So هون انت بتعرف انه هل انا شخص I reflect on my decisions, بفكر قبل ما اشتري, بقول اوكي ليش انا بدي اشتري هذا الاسيت, why do I want to trade it, does it make sense or no. مش لانه كل العالم عم يعملوا هذا الشيء. did I evaluate it. يمكن انت تشوف انه في opportunity لانه العالم كلها عم تشتريها او حتشتريها.
حلو. روي
نعم.
اوكي. سوري خلصت لانه حسيت فصل الخط عندك.
نو
اوكي.
وين وقفت؟ وين سمعتني اخر شيء؟ عم بسمعك انا.
ايه حبيبي، انا سؤالي بالنسبه لهذا الموضوع كومبليمنتس اللي انت عم بتقوله، نحن هون فينا نستنتج لك هيدي اكيد ضمن خبرتكم انتم بهذه البروسس، انه طيب الكونسيومر سايكولوجي كيف تقدر توصل يعني شركات السوفت وير، الشركات الكبيره، الماركت ميكرز و ومع فوكس شوي نيش على السوفت وير سولوشنز اللي بتنطرح بالماركتس، كيف الكونسيومر سايكولوجي بتساعد انه ينعمل ديزاينز لهيك سوفت وير؟
Sorry, I got disconnected again.
No worries, no worries.
So اللي كنت عم اقوله انه what drives people اذا بدك يكونوا بهذا التفكير القطيع ويركضوا behind something is scarcity. دائما اذا بتحط شيء يكون نادر العالم بدها تركض انها تحصل عليه. ليش الذهب سعره غالي؟ ليش الالماس سعره غالي؟ هو ليش اللكجري براندز غاليين؟ لانه في this rarity فيهم. ونحن هلا كمان اذا بنحكي بالكونسبت اللي نحن هلا عم نحكي فيه تبع الكريبتو كارنسي ولا كانوا الان اف تيز، اتس ذا rarity that makes it much more expensive والعالم تركض وراها. So this is also creates what we call FOMO. Why do we FOMO? Because we know that في عدد معين من هيدا الفاينانشال انسترومنت او هيدي الكوموديتي، واذا ما لحقنا حالنا بدها تخلص، وبس تخلص بده يطلع سعرها. انا اعطيك اكزامبل كثير واضح بالايكونومي، every day. بس اقول ايكونومي ما عم بحكي بس فاينانشال انسترومنت، عم بحكي بحياتنا اليوميه. وانت بتعرف من لبنان كيف انت هلا، انا اذا جوز كلسات حقه $2 انا فيني بكره اعمله ب $20 مع انه انت ما ناقصك كلسات. كيف فيني اعمل هذا الشيء؟ بكل بساطه بقول لك سوق سوداء، بلاك ماركت، ما في منه بقى. بلاك ماركت شو بيصير بسعره؟ بده يطلع سعره، بده يعني حتى هيدي ان what's going on بلبنان هلا with the devaluation of the currency. Is it availability? Okay, probably it's the availability and the economic situation, but it is psychology. What is going on? It is pure psychology. انه نحن نخلق كلمه اسمها black market، او نخلق كلمه limited edition، او نخلق هيدي الراريتي اللي بتخليك انت تركض towards this specific instrument because of rarity, which increases the price, increases demand. But is there a real need? في demand بس في need. We're not sure if في need, but there is demand.
حلو.
When you understand these aspects and these concepts, أعطيكم أنا example that I did not long ago. I did something that might be seen as crazy for you guys. Luna, the cryptocurrency.
صح.
وصلت ل $120. فتت أنا اشتريتها على fractions of cents. Why? لأنه I knew that if it reaches very low levels العالم حتركض عليها، لأنه already حيفكروا إنه حيرجع يطلع سعرها. I did this. I lost a bit, then it went up, then it crashed again. لأنه بالنهاية it's a failed project. I didn't care about the technology. I didn't care about the rumors. I didn't care about the negative insights about it. I thought about the psychology of the traders that will go into it. قلت إنه هيدي بدها تنزل ولأنها كتير رخيصة العالم كلها حتنط عليها، حتعليها، بس حيرجعوا يفيقوا يقولوا شو عم نعمل نحن؟ عم نشتري شيء مش حيطلع بقى كتير، حيرجعوا يبيعوها. ركبت الموجة وطلعت منها. فهمت أنا شو قصدي؟
أنا فهمان عليك. وبالنسبة هون الموضوع بيلعب دوره كمان سبيشلي لما يكون في تريدرز بالدق عم بيراقبوا تشارتس، عم بيراقبوا إنه هيدي اليوم نازلة، عارفين إنه في ليفلز معين يفوتوا فيها. ستيل في جزء كتير كبير منهم عمل نفس الخطوة اللي عملتها أنت روي، مع إنه عارف إنه هو تكنيكلي اتس نوت فولفيلينج ومنا مناسبة إنه هو يقدر ما خرج دخلي، يعني منه فوضى صحيحة، ولكن للسبب اللي انت قلته كمان عمل
exactly.
اللي هو
أنا في شيء اسمه ترند.
صح.
trend is your friend. zoom out شوف الترند كيف هو. في تريدرز عم تفكر مثلك، بس في تريدرز مش عم تفكر مثلك. في كثير ناس عندهم جريد، في كثير ناس عندهم فير. بالنهايه برجع انا بقول لك اهم شيء واحد لا يكون كثير خويف ولا يكون كثير طماع. في تريدرز عم تفكر منك، بس انت بالنهايه نحن كاندفيدجوالز نحن بدنا ناكل قطعه من الجاتو، نحن ما فينا ناخذ القالب مثل ما هو. بدك تقتنع تقول اوكي انا I made some profits now it's time to go out. في تريدرز عم تفكر مثلي مزبوط، بس انا بركب the bigger wave. انا مثل ما بيقولوا seeing the world from the shoulder of a giant. This giant that is playing with the markets. كيف عم بيفكروا؟ بدي انا افكر from the perspective of big institutions. يعني انا as an individual اذا بدي اطلع على هالكريبتو اسيت اقول انه اوكي هيدي فيها التكنولوجي وبراها، هيدي فيها ادوبشن، هيدي فيها كذا. انا بدي افكر انا كميرل لينش او انا ك big institution مثل بلاك روك ولا مثل بيركشاير انفستمنت. انا شو بدي اعمل هون؟ بيقول لك انه بدها تطلع the interest rates will go up so let me get out of the market. so انا بدي افكر هيك، بقول اوكي so هلا people will get out of the markets or these big players will go out of the markets, things will drop, I will buy and then wait for it to recorrect and then we'll go down. so I predicted psychology, market psychology, and I used the technical analysis. I use my technical analysis as a compass. Again, when it comes to technical analysis, there is no right or wrong way. Each sees it in a different way. And personally, I use just Fibonacci, just regular support and resistance lines, and I use 4 moving averages: 21, 34, 50. Sometimes the 100, but the 200 is. These are like for me the 4 are the most important. أهم شيء بحطهم daily, and I do more swing trading. I put more on the daily, weekly, monthly for cryptocurrencies. For Forex, you could put the smaller time frames, and that's my strategy. I put those, and I try to assess the psychology of the markets with that, and I see, okay, it hits the target. Okay, now I know that it will trigger fear, it will trigger greed, ضرب support, ضرب resistance. Okay, now I know what to do, and wait it out, chill. بروح بنام. I close my platform. I don't care about it. تكون حاطط stop loss and take profit. But to reach this ability to be this calm, I lost money. I got emotional. I had this irrational thinking, which is actually, for me, it was rational. And for me, it's rational to do this and that, but it was actually irrational. You have to go through these phases, train yourself and able to control your emotions and trust your strategy. You need to trust what you're doing. If you feel that your strategy is not working, it's now time to change it. And when it comes to herding and following others, I would say follow the steps of a successful trader and don't follow a bunch of traders. This is my view on things.
Hello, can I add something, please?
أكيد فادي.
مرحبا جميعا. Good evening, everyone. I would like to add, like, really quickly 3 points. The first of them is, like, there is no doubt about how important is the psychology of trading. And me and Dr. Roy, we had the chance to talk about it a couple of times earlier. And specifically, I remember it was in December, Roy, when you posted on your social media for your friends and followers, was like, sell everything you have from crypto to assets and stock. At that time, we had that talk. But I would like to share one thing, which was about my personal experience, how myself I started with the crypto market. I started early in, I think, the first 5-10 days of January 2021. And before that time, I have passed maybe 2 or 3 years trading in stock market. So at that time, I had a very good friend of mine who lives in the States. And I'm saying this, I'm mentioning this is important because I would like Roy to give an opinion about the psychology of how I started trading cryptocurrencies. So I had this one friend who did his master's, and his final project was about the Bitcoin, and he graduated back in 2017, and I have had the chance to read his dissertation at that time. and it was amazing. And I asked him since that time if he have bought any Bitcoin, and he was like no, although he did an amazing job. So the years came by and passed by, and we traded stocks together. So at one point in early 2021, even in December 20, and all the year past like 2020, we have talked a lot about cryptocurrency, but no one of us had the knowledge enough to get themselves engaged, either me or him. So at one point in January 2021, I was like, okay, I guess I have a little bit of extra money on the side, and I decided to buy in one of the projects of the blue chips I consider, and that could be staked, or that could give you like a certain percentage a year. This was my perspective when I first started. I was like, okay, this amount of money, I can bear losing it. So let's see how it goes. The thing is that once I bought this amount of cryptocurrency of one of the blue chips that could be staked, I started reading more and understanding more. And I think nowadays, Roy, like specifically Roy would know what I'm talking about. Like it's more for me investing more in this one blue chip cryptocurrency which could be staked. More about, from my personal perspective, is that personally I see myself like, let's say, with all the inflation and everything going around, I see myself kind of protecting myself. Specifically, this one cryptocurrency has a limited supply, as many others of the blue chips. So I believe the perspective for me personally of starting into cryptocurrency was first, okay, let me risk this little bit amount of money. Then, okay, oh, nice, I will stake it, so I will make a good use out of it, like a certain percentage, 7 or 8% a year. And finally, I was like, okay, no, I'm believing in it. Why I'm believing in it? Because there is limited number of Bitcoin, limited number of Cardano, limited number of any asset that have a limited supply. I was like, okay, so this could not be printed more. This, for example, there is like, let's say, certain amount of million of Bitcoin. Okay, no one can print one more Bitcoin to add to the market. So my personal perspective have changed throughout these couple of years. First was about, okay, risk it, and I don't give a fuck even if I lose it. Excuse my words. Second is that no, look, this could be staked, and this could be the same as you put some money in the bank and gain some interest in a certain type of account. And third, like, no, there is more of a belief that cryptocurrency at one point is gonna take over in a way or another, in a technological way, and this could be the future of sending assets, or of sending money, or of sending value from one place to another. Fourth, it can protect me, like, okay, it could be traced, the transaction itself could be traced. But for example, if I transfer Roy now 1 Bitcoin, like, who's gonna know that I transferred Roy? Specifically, we talk about all of these trading apps and programs. Okay, there is the NYC that they know Khalid have transferred to Roy 1 Bitcoin, but we can do this in another way. So now I personally see the thing of, okay, why should a government know how much I have, or how much do I transfer to Roy, which I can transfer a value in a matter of seconds, while if I have to do a direct transfer of money, like, let's say 1,000 euro. Now apparently we are in Europe, Roy and me, and like, I will not pay any tax, I will not pay any fees. But let's say if I was on the other side of the world, this is going to be expensive. So myself, I see that there are more of positive points. And by the way, I'm a long-term investor. I do trade really very few amount of my portfolio, have certain amount of my portfolio, and trade it like in a very conservative way.
إذا تسمح قالت أول شيء مساء الخير. مساء الخير أستاذ حسين، مساء الخير دكتور روي.
أهلا بالزميل وحبيب القلب فيصل هيز كوفاوندر كمان روي معنا، سو كمان موجود يعني، ومن الشباب اللي قلبك بحبهم بموضوع التريدينج، بموضوع الديجيتال اسيتس كمان. سو ليفل اوف انفولفمنت جدا عالي.
أنا قلبي حب الدكتور روي على طول صراحة، العمق اللي ودانا فيه شيء جدا يعني جميل.
حبيبي فيصل، متشرفين.
أيضا كان معنا نبيل، أعتقد كان عنده مداخلة عميقة جدا، وسعيد والله بوجودك ووجودي معك دكتور راي وجميع الموجودين هنا.
شكرا.
بس عندي لأنه لاحظت في النقاش كان في تساؤل what's the point of this community. وسوري اني يعني I will not speak in English لأن الموضوع ديب وأبغى أخذ حريتي في التعبير عنه.
اوكي.
احنا لما دخلنا العالم هذا عالم التداول كنا حرفيا لوست، يعني انت تدخل ما تدري كيف تستثمر، خصوصا اذا ما عندك خبرة في البزنس، يعني في ستارتنج اب بزنس. فكانت كل القرارات والخيارات عبارة عن تراي اند ايرور، تدخل تخسر تدخل تخسر. ايه في النيو دكتور كنت تقول انه خسرت كثير اللي انت علمت. ف the point of our community is to يعني have a position in this area. الناس لما تدخل عندها مشكلة مع الماركت، how to deal with الماركت. والمشكلة انه الافيلبل في السوق هم ناس يعني they are not professional. تلقى محلل مثلا في تويتر يحلل ما ندري مين وراه، كيف يحلل، ايش المدرسة اللي يتبعها. تلقى مثلا انستتيوشن معينة جالسة تتربح من الموضوع هذا، لكن الريتين اون انفستمنت جدا سيء، اذا ما في اصلا محاولات النصب اللي قاعد تصير. في الحوسة هذه والفوضى هذه كلها بدينا نتعرف على الافضل يعني الخبير المتقدم في المجال هذا، وبدينا نسوي كوميونتي. فلاحظنا انه الكوميونتي اللي احنا سويناه جدا هيلبفول. يعني لما يجيك شخص يسأل سؤال واحد يجد 4 إجابات وكل الإجابات قيمة. طيب لما يكون عندنا institutions عشان أسويها لازم يا أكون عندي تصريح مثلا من الدولة مثلا، وأحتاج أيضا أنه يكون عندي infrastructure مكلفة جدا علشان أسوي community يمارس الرول هذا. وجدنا إيش؟ أنه الويب 3 وفكرة الداو كوميونيتيز تعطيك القدرة أنك تسوي infrastructure healthy infrastructure where you put your vision والميشن اللي أنت you wanna do to خلينا نقول deliver الرول هذا اللي أنت حاب يعني، أو البرودكت اللي أنت حاب تقدمه. لقينا انه البيئة هذه تعطيك القدرة انك تصمم الكوميونتي هذا. طيب لما نجي نشوف الفكرة نجدها الى حد ما حالمة اذا كانت معتمدة على ما يسمى انه والله انا ابغى اسوي خير، انا ابي اسوي مدري ايش، انا والله ودي. احنا فكرتنا ما هي كذا. انت once you have reach your goal as a community, big community, فأنت you have leverage على الماركت، أنت you have power, you have a value. فالفاليو هذه هي أصلا متكونة من values كثيرة تجمعت مع بعض. إذن what is your secret? Your secret as a community إنه to link each other to reach اللي هو الفيجن اللي أنت حاطه للكوميونتي. طبعا في نماذج للكوميونيتيز هذه صارت ونجحت. لاحظت دكتور روي انك تكلمت عن التحليل الفني خصوصا من خلال يعني ترندز يور فريندز وكذا. اغلب اللي موجودين هم ناس يعني محللين اصلا ومتداولين، اذا هم يتعاملون مع القيمة هذه تعلو وتنخفض. القيمة ذي لها قياسات كثير، ممكن أنا أقيسها فاوندمنتالي، ممكن أنا أقيسها بطرق مختلفة، لكن طرق التحليل الفني هي طرق بسيطة جدا لكنها تعطيك overview أو outlook للقيمة اللي أنت جالس تتداولها. إذا إحنا هدفنا نتداول القيمة طيب بالطرق اللي يعني حتى في واحده من السكور عندنا في الكوميونتي يا دكتور، انه we recognize the most يعني profitable او اقوى شخص رابح في المجتمع من التداول، we recognize him، ويصير يعني له باور، له ليفرج في المجتمع هذا. الليفرج هذا ممكن يكون على شكل انكم، ممكن يكون على شكل ريكوجنيشن، ممكن يكون يعني واتفر من الاشياء اللي ممكن تعطيك اياها الطبيعه البشريه كمكافآت. فالموضوع كفجن دكتور نشوفه بيوصل المرحله ذي حاليا. يعني لاحظ انه التاسيس كله كان على انفراستراكشر اوريدي موجوده. لما تتكلم عن ديسكورد، تتكلم عن السوشيال ميديا even without يعني paying any penny in the beginning. حتى انت بس you communicate with the professionals, with the interesters, and then you invest only your time, and then نوصل الى المرحله اللي احنا وصلنا فيها الحين. يعني هذا بروجريسنج. لما نقيسه نجد انه حتى لو نقيسه فنيا على اساس انه الفاليو هي درجه التاثير، وين كنا قبل فتره معينه وين صرنا الان من ناحيه التاثير. اذا احنا ماسكين ترند صاعد في التاثير. هنا نبدا نقيسه حتى بطرقنا التكنيكال اناليسيس. وي كان ريتش انه والله وي ار يعني ongoing ولا we stuck here ولا ايش بالضبط. يعني we can reach this level. شكرا دكتور، سمعتني كل هالفترة.
شكرا لك فيصل، وأول شيء متشرفين بمعرفتك and this explanation makes a lot of sense. and أكيد في شيء مهم when it comes to communities. Again نرجع نحن للبيزك concept of a community. ليش نحن in a community؟ لأنه في added value. شو added value in this one? So instead of having this individual thinking, we have more of a collective thinking. and أكيد يكونوا كل الأشخاص الموجودين in this community contribute and they add value. يعني أعطي أنا example يمكن ما أكون accurate بس أنا I'm just giving an example. يمكن من الحاضرين هون حسين is an amazing fundamental analyst، أنت تكون an amazing technical analyst. مارك is more شخص بيفهم بالفاينانشال ماركتس، شخص بيفهم بالانجينيرينج تك بارت تبعت الكريبتو كارنسي. So all of this collective knowledge would bring the value. نحن at EPAM we have a concept بنسميه نحن Center of Excellence، يلي هو بيجمع all the expertise من يلي كان شخص عنده هالconsulting knowledge، يلي كان عنده هالCX knowledge، يلي عنده هالdesign knowledge، يلي عنده this different consumer marketing knowledge، بينجمعوا كلهم بمطرح واحد. and the concept of center of excellence first of all انه to onboard the newcomers to this community. انت عندك شخص جاي جديد، he gets onboarded easy quickly، بيفهم the concept the structure تبع الكوميونتي، شو المبادئ الكوميونتي، how can they add value to the community. basically that's first of all. second of all again it's collective. يعني انت اليوم بتلاقي عندك وجهة نظر بيكملها حسين بوجهة نظره، بيكملها مارك بوجهة نظره، خالد بيكملها بوجهة نظره. That's the power of community. So mainly that's what I would stress on. Now الحلو بالdecentralization اليوم بالconcept انه بطل في borders للcommunity. So انت فيك تكون شخص let's say in cryptocurrency بيقدر يشتغل على development من بلد تاني، من مطرح تاني without a border, without a timeline, open access to develop and to reach إذا بدك to advance what you have as a technology to contribute with an added value. This is in the world of engineering of cryptocurrency. So it's the same concept here in this specific trading community, is to bring value to this to these members that are here constructively. يعني كل شخص عم بيحط فاليو للكوميونتي، عم مش بس عم يساعد نفسه وعم يساعد غيره to push forward and to bring on value. وانت ذكرت شغله كمان هون about trial and error اللي كانت تصير بالاول، بس هذا الشيء خليكم تتعلموا and to have this إذا بدك play kit أو tool kit إنه نحن these are things that we avoid from experience. That's what we should do out of experience. And the onboarded person to learn from our experience and to avoid either falling into the same mistakes and to learn from our experiences.
Lovely. Doctor, I just have one question to ask. I'll ask it in English, especially, I guess, Mike, you're here?
Mm-hmm.
I guess we have someone from a friend of ours also. He's English. He's from UK. There's a question I'd like to... Hi, Mike. How are you? So we're just saying we'll be asking because... Excellent. Dr. Roy, so basically, when it comes to the to what you said, when it comes to the virtual communities, EPAM or software development companies or software engineering companies, first, what do they see in the future of these communities? How do they project the communities will be within a couple of years from now? Will they really be decentralized, autonomous organizations acting as in forms of in the form they act without the hierarchical, the vertical hierarchy? Is it possible to reach it, Roy?
بدك رأي الكثير نقول الحيادة وال
Please, non-biased, the non-biased opinion.
Non-biased. When you have corporations involved, it's impossible to have it completely decentralized because it will be under a brand or a corporation.
Okay, so basically the concept of the communities, or the overview, the projection, the roadmap for communities, you think it will be impossible or it will be obstructed and the bumpy road to reach it?
I'm afraid, unfortunately, هذا الشيء اللي I'm really kind of let's say not disappointed, but you know, when it comes to decentralization, when you have these corporations involved, you will have less of this utopic idea اللي كان عنا اياها بالاول of decentralization and complete freedom. اليوم إذا Nike came up with an NFT, it's under Nike in the end. They are the decision makers. But on the other hand, the positive, let's say, community side is co-designing. When you are able to co-design, co-develop, introduce now your thoughts, and this is what's happening today in organizations and corporations. نحن كثير بالويب 3 عم نشتغل مع within the luxury and fashion industry. The first thing is co-designing. Let your community design إذا بدك this world that they would like to have on the metaverse or the NFT or the way that they would like to exchange or monetize. Give them this ability to co-design وأنت with your expertise design it in a way that would fit their expectations. So co-designing, yes, definitely. Pure decentralization and independence in the corporate world, no, in my opinion.
And how about the coexistence between communities all around the world and probably acting as an ecosystem when it comes to certain financial market like crypto market, for example, or any other?
دائما حيكون في conflict. دائما حيكون في
conflict. There will always be a conflict.
كثير عم نشوف دائما communities عم تنفصل عن بعضها. Ethereum is one of them, for example, because of these إذا بدك different views. But having different communities إذا بدك is possible. Having sometimes common goals, it is possible. But having one global community, I think that it is not something that is attainable. But again, it depends on your objectives as a community and your culture and philosophy. This is quite important.
Excellent. Excellent.
Did I answer your question?
To a certain extent, yes. For the other part regarding the how will there be any approach in the software, I'm interested in understanding the mentality when it comes to engineering, software engineering companies, to especially like EPAM, one of the largest manufacturers, consultants. Do they really highlight and do they really influence or at least push the community section, or is it under their under the radar or no? This is the base question.
So the first thing, نحن from the research perspective, what we do before designing any let's say blockchain asset or technology, we look at the community. What is the view of the community on the product? Yani, for example, if you are into a fashion industry who wants to come up with their digital clothing as NFTs,
Okay.
you have your view and you come up with the concept. But what if the community doesn't really accept this concept or they don't really click with it? What is their perception on this? So first of all, you start, before talking technology can be khalas, but like a few engineers, it's implemented. But you see the view of the community, the core values of the community, and you build around it. أهم شيء, the center is the community, and you build around the community. This is something that we have as a bespoke practice. Yes.
Excellent, lovely. Anyone would like to ask any question regarding this topic, please feel free, because maybe I'm just interacting all the time with Roy, but things are just coming up into the mind, so we are discussing all things all together.
عندي سؤال للدكتور روي. قبل شوي كان يتكلم عن الماركت ميكر، ولفتت نظري موضوع انه خليك مع البيج انستتيوشن، خليك مع الماركت ميكرز، تحرك معاهم from the يعني you look from the giant shoulder. is there a way يعني نقدر من خلالها دائما يعني نشتغل معاهم؟ بمعنى انت عشان توصل للمرحله اللي تشوف الماركت ميكر ايش جالس يسوي، you need the tools. فالتولز هذه بالنسبه لك دكتور راي ممكن يعني outlook على موضوع هذا.
If you're asking about sustainability in this case, my answer would be automation. Automation is the key. لأنه نحن بدنا نجرب نشيل مثل ما عم نحكي نحن البايس، human bias، العواطف، and to think objectively.
عندي تجربة يا دكتور، ونقطع والدك في الأوتوميشن. وصلنا إلى يعني نسبة 1% daily. لكن لسه يعني ما نقدر نختبرها. فبصراحة إجابتك صدمتني إنه it is the automation، يعني كأنه nothing else.
Not only, but it is the key to sustain automation. And automation is what? Is you putting your expertise. هذه برجع بقول أنا شغلة مهمة كتير إنه it's a human-centered science. يعني أنت if you don't have the human centricity, it's not enough. يعني أنت if you build an algorithm that doesn't really think logically, it's not enough. So building automation and you feed it with data, you feed it with knowledge, you feed it with expertise, this will make it much more prevalent. Yani it's not enough just to do a bot that doesn't take into account different factors. The factors that are put into the automation is your human experience and to be also audited by humans. But automation will help you إذا بدك decrease the biases of pure human emotions within trading.
وين وصلت دكتور في
Very nice.
في المراحل هذه، مراحل الأوتوميشن، أو if you have interest في الموضوع؟
So in terms of automation build trading, I've been inactive for a while because إذا بدك I completely changed the track. إذا بدك أنا هلأ هون as a service for our clients who work on automation, we include always this human-centered science, again to understand their community or their users or their consumer psychology before just designing a pure solution, to include this human-centered science. So that's something. When it comes to pure trading, بصراحة مثل ما كنت عم أقول لك أنا I was involved so much into the markets in a way that my emotions, pure emotions, interfered. And I lost a big opportunity because of this. If I would have put a strategy and automated it based on my strategy وطلعت أنا برا, I would have made much more money. أنا البيتكوين أنا أخذت على $4,200. That was my average. and I sold around 8,100. That was my selling price. ليش؟ لأنه طمعت إنه I will buy it again for 2,500.
So it doubled from 4,200 to 8,000.
Which is still very good. You doubled, but I would have rode the wave all the way up there. But ليش؟ لأنه I didn't take into account توطية الفوائد by the central bank, bringing more money by the central bank that made the demand higher and the possibility for investors and big companies to put much more money, pump much more money in the crypto markets. So you see, the pure automation would have been, limiting, لأنه خلاص you fed this data, but also changing, by understanding the psychological aspect of the markets with the changes in the market would have made me profit much more with it. So since then, I wasn't much involved in the markets anymore.
دكتور السوق يعني لما نتكلم عن السوق إذا if we care about مثلا 3 or 4 years from now هنا بتطلع الريسكس many risks قدامك يعني blocking you from entering this market. لكن السوق اللي قاعدين نشوفه احنا السيولة فيه بالمليارات بشكل يومي والتذبذب تستفيد منه حتى على فريم السكند. ف if we have يعني خلينا نقول a way to get advantage of التذبذب اللي قاعد يصير في السوق ممكن نوصل إلى نتائج جدا مرضية في كل الأسواق مش بس في الكريبتو طالما نستطيع أن نشتغل within السيولة اللي كان مجرت بالتكنيكال أناليسيس.
So أنا هذا الشيء وافقك فيه. Short term أول إذا بدك أول indicator لك هو technical analysis. عم تحكي long term factor in أكيد الفundamental for sure 100%.
Which is the adoption part.
بيعطيك الادوبشن الماركت ديسيجنز اذا بدك المونيتري الفيسكال ديسيجن هذا بيكون الرود ماب تبعك يعني هذا الشيء بيقول لك لنقول انت از تكنيكال اناليست بيعمل داي تريدينج انت عارف انه في فوائد بدها تطلع او بدها تنزل بتقول انت انه من هلا ل 6 اشهر لسنه الاسواق بدها تنزل بس انا بصير الاستراتيجي تبعت الداي تريدينج تبعتي بتتغير بعرف انه الترند رايح نزول سو بعرف انا حالي وين بحط الترند لاين تبعي كيف بدي احطه based on this bigger macro سو انا بحط هذا الماكرو اذا بدك view on the longer scale then I start zooming in into these very quick ins and outs based on my technical strategy.
This is from a trading and from a profit loss point of view, but there is one question actually which we hinted now that came to my mind. For those who do not out there who do not know about the markets, who do not care about the trading part, who still believe that trading, whether it's crypto, whether it's any other asset, is something risky or more of a gambling. How can these people be driven into the adoption? Okay, we know that it's the government's processes, it's the overall, the full spread through of the whole technology. But these specific people, how can you be able to convince them into adopting crypto assets, for example?
Okay, so again, this is linked to financial literacy. So let's say in a company, ليش هيني in a company to know? The company تطلع أنت على ال income statement, على البالانس شيت, على ال different إذا بدك metrics اللي عندهم إياهم. تطلع على ال earning ratio, على ال debt ratio, على كذا. بتعرف الشركة شو وضعها المالي. وبتعرف قديش عم يعملوا ريفينيوز والفوركاست تبعهم هذا الشيء بينزل على شكل دائم بالكريبتو كرنسي اذا بدك المترك هو الادوبشن وين التكنولوجيا عم تكون ادوبتد مين الشركات اللي عم تعمل لها ادوبشن who's interested in this technology and who's applying it so in the very early stages يعني انت مثل كانك عم تستثمر بستارت ابس عم نحكي نحن بالاي سي او let's say you're still in the risky phase اكيد لانه انت بعدك ما بتعرف يعني you're a believer in this project عندك انت white paper عندك road map وكذا but still you're taking risk ودائما الريسك equals either big loss or big gain دائما you have to be انت firm believer عملت انت اذا بدك do your research,
Due diligence, yeah, true.
exactly. On the other hand, when you're talking about adoption in more of the mature stages, you would say, okay, this project is now well established. Regardless from يصير بالماركتس عم يطلع عم ينزل, this project will stay there. It will remain as long as the community, especially, is doing the right developments, like the Ethereum community اللي عم نشوف نحن massive adoption إلها. والسعر اللي طلع هيك عم نشوف لأنه في كتير massive companies that are building their own metaverse on this specific blockchain. So بتقول إنه okay, this is something that I believe in and it has higher market valuations. Now هلا أنت بالنسبة لك, if you're a long-term investor, it's about timing the market in a way that you would say أنا ليش بدي أشتري مثلا this specific cryptocurrency for this price. I would just rely on very basic TA, very basic technical analysis. And I would say, okay, هون let's say Bitcoin support تبع the major support على 20,000 أو تحت شوي أو كذا. بعمل dollar cost averaging وأنا بعرف إنه بعد 4 سنين أنا ممكن نطلع. So it's again based on probability, but أهم شيء هو in cryptocurrency it's about adoption, project adoption and development. مش بس adoption. نحن عملنا الادوبشن اوكي في adoption. Community قديش عم يعملوا development. In financial markets, it's more about these different metrics like the PE ratios, the income statements, the earnings, etc.
Quick question. Another quick question now came to my mind. Metaverse, is it a myth or is it something sustainable for the coming times?
أبداً, it's not a myth. Metaverse existed for quite a while now, 10 سنين أو حتى أكثر. وهي معروف بال AR, VR, XR. The difference is now with metaverse you involve the blockchain technology that you can access through NFTs, etc. There is, in my opinion, أكيد مليون بالمية, it's not something that will disappear. It is in the current phase of development and investment. هلا big companies are working very silently in developing this. On the other hand, the thing again, برجع أنا فوت هون human psychology and centricity. It's about onboarding your users into this technology. كيف أنا ممكن إذا بالبيت خلي أولادي يستعملوه بطريقة that is safe. كيف أنا ما ممكن أعمل hangover عليه, ما يوجعني راسي, ما يصير معي all these things. So كيف أنا ممكن to onboard أنا بي اللي عمره 70 سنة يستعمل this technology. So these are things that come with development and user experience, which we're currently developing. Once you onboard your users with a smooth user experience and a human-centered design, the technology will boost and go up and up and up.
Nice. Very good.
Can I ask a question?
Of course.
Yeah. What do we think about the responsibility of managing and controlling the use of the metaverse? Obviously, the world is so phone orientated, computers, any other form of screen. How do we responsibly manage the usage of the metaverse as it becomes more intricate?
That's a very good question, and you kind of answered by asking the question. When you said responsibility, you need to build a responsible metaverse, and that's what we at EPAM are advocating. Responsible metaverse. It means that you take into account accessibility, safety, ethics, and this is the responsibility of the company itself that is developing the metaverse. I would take into account the safety of a certain, let's say, audience. If we're talking about harassment, we're talking about bullying, safety, addiction, all of that. When you're designing your metaverse, you need to take these elements into account, and that once you have these things, in terms of your CSR, you ticked all these boxes, then you will have more adoption into your metaverse because users will feel safer and they will build this trust towards the virtual world that you're building.
Yeah, I do agree with you. So obviously I assume everyone here has seen the film Ready Player One. Have you seen the film Ready Player One?
No, I haven't.
No. So it's a metaverse orientated film, and I think having watched that, and I know I definitely speak for myself when I say this. I've got a very young family, and you find yourself thinking about where we've come from, you know, being in our mid 30s and that, to from where technology was to where we are now, and where our children are today to where they'll be at our age now. I just think it's really interesting that you've got a film like Ready Player One, which, you know, people borderline go to work in the metaverse. You know, that's how they're earning their living. They're spending like 12 to 18 hours a day in such a place. And it's like, does the responsibility...
Yeah.
Obviously, the responsibility relies with everybody, but does it not mainly rely on the developer? You know, like with gambling, they have like max that you can lose and stuff now, don't they? They've got quite strict rules to stop you being gambling too much. Do we have to implement rules like that within the metaverse so that people go outside for a breath of fresh air and, you know, go for a walk and...
Exactly, and definitely, that's my personal opinion, that metaverse will not replace the real world. It will help maybe solving some solutions. I got a call from a partner yesterday who was asking me if we could actually save time for home buyers and create a metaverse version of apartments. So you can see that's the use case of it. But I believe that there is this big risk for younger people to spend a lot of time, and not only that, also confusing their personal identity, because in the metaverse, you have less boundaries of your own avatar, creating these different, let's say, features about yourself, which could also impact negatively the self-perception of users. If you're a 14-year-old kid who would imagine or like build an avatar that you're a human dragon or etc., that might impact some youngsters in their real life on their self-image, which could cause depression, etc., etc. So again, I believe that there should be regulations and a set of standards put in every company that needs to build a metaverse.
Can I ask one last question, please?
Sure.
What do we think about Facebook and them wanting to enter the metaverse? Obviously, their umbrella company is now called Meta, and Mark Zuckerberg looks to have a very keen interest in developing in the space. Is this positive or negative towards, you know, towards the space in general?
Okay, so it's kind of both. For me, the fact that Meta did evangelize the metaverse, it made companies and people more aware about this, to adopt it more. It went more viral because it's a company that has billions of users. So that was a positive impact on the concept of the metaverse. Now, when it comes to Meta or Facebook, call it whatever you want itself, managing this, I'm concerned because of the previous ethical practices of this company. So I would say personally, I'm not a big fan of Zuck and his practices, but overall, let's say on the overall adoption of metaverse, it was a positive impact.
Yeah. Well, thank you for answering my questions.
You're welcome. Any other questions?
I know it's been like we've exceeded the podcast timing with 30 minutes, and I know you're already exhausted, Roy. So
I didn't even feel the time.
Exactly. No, I really appreciate your presence. I really appreciate all what you have offered. It was really amazing, and hopefully we can in the upcoming days or future we can also work on another title subjects, projects. Probably nobody knows where things will take us. The focus in the Arab world, especially in our region, and this is something of great importance to us in Alphabet. We try, as we started and as we briefed on the full community, to bridge all these things in between the communities, one, and to be a true source and reference for many of the newcomers for this technology. be it in the community itself or the services or the ideas being presented. So this is something of great importance that we will keep on looking on, and we will work really hard to satisfy. So on behalf of Al-Fadad, on everyone, really thank you very much for you, for EPAM Systems, for your time. I know it's what time is it now in France?
It's 7:40.
And basically you're still with us here, so many thanks, Roy, really, I appreciate it.
It was a big pleasure.
Thank you guys, thank you everyone for your time. Hopefully we'll be able to see you again.
شكرا للجميع. يعطيكم
Thanks,
العافية
everyone.
جميعا. شكرا.
Thank you, and guys, don't hesitate to connect with me on LinkedIn if you would like to network, to talk. It will be with a great pleasure.
Also, we'll put it now in our announcement section with your all your details and contact details.
Amazing. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, dear. Thank you, حبيبي. كلك ذوق يا رب.
Well, bye bye.
I appreciate your time. Bye bye, guys.
شكرا.